All right, and we're up. What's good, y'all? It's XFamZ here, and today I'm gonna teach y'all how I make my ICYTWAT type beats and how I just make beats in general. Just letting y'all know, I'm not the best producer at these type of things. I've been trying to record this over and over again, and some like plugins were broken, so I had to reload FL, and then I didn't like some of the recordings, so I'm actually gonna show y'all how I actually do this stuff, and as I'm going to say, do not take everything I say for granted. I'm not the best producer, and I'm definitely, by any means, am not very good at music theory, so I am going to be kind of slow at some things, but I'll show you how I kind of work with my workflow and how I work with my pace. Anyways, let's hop into it. There's a couple of plugins that you're mainly going to need. You're going to mainly need to have this version of Nexus, specifically Nexus 2, and then maybe Wave Station or anything else, but you only mainly need Nexus for most of your beats, and that's really just it. And you can also use Expand as well, but I know that ICYTWAT uses a bunch of different other plugins that I don't currently have, but I'm not gonna really go down that rabbit hole because I don't want to get my computer hacked, because with getting old plugins it's pretty risky. Even getting Nexus, like, it's, you don't really want to go down that stuff. But anyways, besides any of that, let me get into the main stuff. With ICYTWAT, he kind of has like a more stereo sound, not monotone, but more stereo sound. Like, his sound is wide, and it feels very 90s, like a jungle beat. That's why, like, on some of his beats, if, like, you remove all the trap aspects of it and you put like a drum and bass sample on it, it sounds like a jungle beat, because that's how he was inspired by what's the sound of the 90s. But anyways, enough like rambling and stuff. Let's get into the beat making process. He likes to make minor ninth chords. It's like his big major thing. Turned into major, actually, into minor ninth. Yeah, I like that. So you can't just like put that in there and think it's just done. So what you got to do is you got to come here, and then you got to come right here. It's my bad. Come right here and remove the lower end frequencies, and then maybe the treble, depending if there's like unnecessary frequencies that you don't want to have. And the reason why we do that is so if you're adding bass or kicks or anything, it has room for that, because mainly what using an EQ basically means, an equalizer, is basically just having volume in different areas, basically, and sort of thing with compression too. So you mainly want to have that open there. So that's a heads up. So we're going to do that. And you mainly do that for pads too. In general, you remove the lower end frequencies, unless if it's a pad that emphasizes more in sub and bass and the lower end of frequencies. But that's a if, and mainly not really a lot of pads do that unless you're doing like dubstep or whatever. But anyways, you do that for that pad, kind of lower it a bit. Try to merge it so the sound can feel more closer. And then I'm gonna open this again, and then I'm gonna add a piano. There's a specific type of piano that he likes to use within Nexus, and that I hear that is overused is the arena ambience. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just take this, do this, bit of like a do the same thing right here. And bring it down like a whole. like that. So try to give the piano a bit of dynamic there. And with the piano, I just lowered that as y'all saw. And then right now, I'm gonna come right here. Lower the low end a bit, and then bring up the high mid area a bit. And then what I like to do is I like to have the piano more spread, and then sometimes I like to bring down the release to make it more like tappier, but it's just for this occasion I'm just gonna leave everything normal. You can leave everything normal. This is just purely on my behalf on how I do things, but basically this is how it's supposed to be. Give it that ICYTWAT flow. Right, like that. Sounds nice. Now, what I am going to add next is a sort of like another pad to it. So I'm in dance leads real quick. It's too dark. Let's try this here, Tokyo over it. Whoa. Pad 2. Do the same thing right there. Oops, hold on. There. So what I like to do with the limiter, pretty much is just kind of new. I'm not the best at it, but I like to bring the threshold down to where the audio is closely at, turn the ratio up, so we don't have anything like interfering with the other pad, because you like to have the sound in the middle, basically. So you want to have the sound in the middle as much as possible, and you don't want no other instrument overlapping the other instrument, and that's where compression comes into play, which is why I think compression is like the best thing ever made. Like, whoever invented compression, like, you are a Albert Einstein genius of music. But yeah, bring down the gain a little bit, turn the threshold up, put the ratio up, release a little bit up, then just put it on soft. Then now we're going to add some plucks to it, which is just pretty simple. You know, I use Nexus again. I think this is just purely all just Nexus. And then mainly the this. But yeah, a lot of producers, a lot of cloud rap producers, they use this type of a pluck. So we're gonna use that. All right, we're gonna go right here. like that. So now we have the main melody and the beat going on. It's kind of how I structure my ICYTWAT beats. And now we're going to move on into the actual drums and percussion. So let's get on to it. Just like a normal like hi-hat that he uses. And I know that he used the SNRLX jug kit, but it's like outdated, so you can just go on Reddit, just find any random ICYTWAT drum kit that's out there. But basically he likes to add like a bit of reverb to some of his percussion to give it a more flavor, type of more like spacey feel with it. Like yeah, I think this one just already has reverb on it, so we're just gonna make like a insert like a channel rack for this one. 5. Do hi-hats, snare, the kick. Well, I like to structure, I like to name stuff off so I just remember, you know. Instead of just having like pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, I don't want to do that. I'll literally go insane. Right. Do that. Here. Yeah, I like that. Give it like a little nice hi-hat roll. So we got the the hi-hats out of the way. So now we want to add in the snare. Just fine, you know. Too punchy. There we go. This is purely optional. I just like to add a little bit of delay to my stuff, so with my kicks, I just choose a random kick or like a random, like, you know, Cardi kick. Any kick will sound fine. It doesn't matter. It just needs to be something that's punchy but also soft too. But I like to have my stuff crazy big, so who I am. Just turn it up. Do this. Hold up. Now, I kind of suck at 808s. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, I really suck at 808s. Like, I'm probably, like, the worst guy at bass. Like, I am so bad at doing bass. But I'm going to try the best to explain it to y'all. Usually what I do, I just come over here to the chords and just do this. Now we're going to add the symbols, the IC symbols, the iconic IC symbols. Then we are going to add perks. Like the random whatever. Then we're going to add a box. He always has an iconic box. Go in here. Box right there, the iconic box. So usually, I literally just found this out of nowhere. It's a sleigh, and then it's a random 808 Mafia crash symbol. So if you have like a sleigh, one of your drum kits lying around anywhere, then that's how you get that sound. Basically. All right. ICYTWAT beats. And here. It's right here. This. Yep. That is how you make ICYTWAT beats. All right, that's it. I'm going to bed. See y'all later.